So Warhammer Helsreach is a fan film done by Richard Boylan, a fan of Warhammer. Shocking, I know, right? Just get to the point, Sloan. Well, it's less of a fan film and more of a fan series, being made up of several individual episodes released over the course of a year and a half. The first episode being released in early 2017 and the final episode being released in early 2019. Given Games Workshop's recent stance on fan films, aka the Cease This Heresy policy, it felt like a good time to go back and watch the best of what Warhammer fan films have to offer. And I'm not exaggerating, this is the best Warhammer film. I'm sorry, all those Astartes fans are gonna crucify me in the comments if this video actually gets any views for once, but seriously, it's that good. Like, this and Astartes are the bifecta of great Warhammer films. There are a lot of other great Warhammer fan animations out there, and I'm sure I'll be proven wrong somewhere down the line, but for the moment, these two are the best, at least as far as I can tell. Helsreach goes over the defense of Helsreach, a hive city on the planet Armageddon. Armageddon is a planet in the Warhammer universe. Warhammer is a series of tabletop games. If you want me to go more in depth than that, then this is not the video for you. This is for Warhammer fans. That being said, if you aren't a fan of Warhammer and you're just kind of curious about the whole thing, go watch this film. It's about 2.5 hours of footage, but it's worth it. The film depicts the defense of Helsreach from the Orc invasion, and a small squad of Black Templars that are expected to hold the line at all costs. It's grandiose, it's dramatic, it's over the top, it's grimdark, it's Warhammer. And I think that's about all the introduction you need. So without further ado... In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. For example, the war that Games Workshop is constantly waging on its own fans. Hey-oh!
I will die on this world.
Hey, spoilers! Not only does the sketch animation cover up the fact that this was a one-man team, with large portions of it being done in Gmod, but it scores a ton of style points in the film's favor, even though it unintentionally looks like Mad World sometimes.
Armageddon. Even the name twists my blood until burning oil beats through my veins.
Why couldn't we go to Treasure Planet instead?
I am a weapon in the eternal crusade to forge humanity's mastership of the stars.
I feel like I should make an Eternal Crusade reference here, but nobody played Eternal Crusade, so I got nothing. We then cut to the opening ceremony, where Grimaldus is being granted the well-earned title of Reclusiarch. Man, the Black Templars take Employee of the Month Day pretty seriously. The occasion was so important they woke up 4 dreadnoughts. Not for battle or anything like that, just for... What are they doing? We then meet High Marshal Helbrecht, who sounds exactly like prequel Palpatine.
Grimaldus, it was the belief of Reclusiarch Mordred that upon his death, you would be worthiest of our brother chaplains to stand in his stead. Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy.
We have summoned you to be done. Mordred is dead, slain by the archenemy.
Oh hey, are you the guys I sent to buy my sandpaper cigarettes? How else do you think I always sound so calm and sexy?
But surprise, it was a flashback, which is in and of itself being told from the perspective of a giant flashback. And just to round out the litany of funny voices, we're then greeted by Artarian. His voice sounds like the guy who taught shop class in South Park.
We will fight and win, or fight and die.
I don't like kids that screw around. You screw around in shop class, you can lose a hand or an eye.
As for the rest of the squad, Grimaldus is nice enough to do character introductions for me. Not that you're going to be able to remember them anyway, given that they're all wearing the exact same helmet and have the exact same personality.
Within his veins, Khador carries the blessed blood of Rogel Dawn with what seems like weary honor.
And being the gene sons of Rogel Dorn, they of course have the personality of a wall.
Primus is the rising sun to Khador's dusk, a blade master, he calls himself.
Ooh, the Blade Master. While you were doing drugs, I studied the blade. While you were engaged in premarital sex, I practiced the blade. Now, Blade Master kinda seems like a stupid title to give oneself, but that's just because self-awareness doesn't exist in Warhammer.
Nerevar is the newest among us. The squad required the presence of an apothecary.
Oh, we have a new guy. Good. Well, he's dead.
Astala, always the best and least of us all. A leader, but not a commander. Arterion is... Arterion. A curious sense of unease descends upon me.
Well, I didn't know they allowed Psychers in the Black Templars. It might seem like the situation's getting bad, but to be fair, this is a pretty average drop in the Warhammer universe. But enough of that boring shit. It's flashback time.
You have waged war at my side for 200 years. Will you stand at my side as Reclusiarch of the Eternal Crusade? Yes, my liege.
Wait, you have a mosquito on your... Wait, you have some mustard on your lip. And another one for good luck. Or was it bad luck to end on an even number? No, it was an odd number. Get on with it!
Let that be the last blow you receive unanswered.
Yep. Thanks, buddy. The slapping the guy seems a bit overboard. This is a very Black Templar way to give a promotion. When you get promoted to High Marshal, they kick you in the nuts. You don't want to know what they do to the initiates. But suddenly, it's the Second War for Armageddon. Yeah, because this was uploaded into separate parts, we're going to be jumping back and forth between events constantly. That's just a side effect of hot gluing several individual episodes into one giant film. Anyway, it's the Second War for Armageddon. And look, the war boss is here to kill these 5 guardsmen. 5 guardsmen and Commissar Yarrick, so they're more than a match. For those of you not in the know, Commissar Yarrick is Commissar Kane if he lived up to the hype. Although as a Commissar Kane fanboy, I have to mention he at least kept both of his arms when taking down his war boss. Anyway, enough of that, back to the present day, where everyone's doing the Imperial dab.
I am Helsreach, High Marshal of the Black Templars. With me is Bayard and Grimaldus, Reclusiarch.
Do not worry, my head is not a skull. It has a skull. We like to have fun here.
So a much older and laser-eye bedecked Commissar Yarrick greets everybody.
The man speaking is ancient, and he looks every hour of his age.
Well, he's ancient for the Warhammer universe. Isn't the average lifespan of a guardsman like 12?
What is coming in system now far exceeds what has laid waste to the planet before. Hades will burn.
Grimaldus is then ordered to stay behind and guard the city. Being a murder-happy Black Templar, he of course takes issue with it.
We must leave a contingent on the surface to defend one of the hive cities that yet remains ungarrisoned by Astartes. A commander must remain. Don't do this. It is already done.
Grimaldus. Are you crying under that helmet?
No! Grimaldus, being the wizened Space Marine Reclusiarch, of course handles this in the most mature way possible, by throwing a tantrum and storming out to go sulk.
Wait, brother.
This isn't about the slap I gave you, is it? Of course it's about the slap you gave me.
Their destination was called, with bleakness so typical of this world, Helsreach.
He said it! He said it!
It does seem a bit questionable that a squad of 6 Space Marines would be able to defend the entire city by themselves. The apothecary, Nerovar, voices these concerns.
Reclusiarch, how can we defend all this? With blade and bolter. With faith and fire.
Okay, great speech, but that doesn't answer my question. I think the best thing anybody could do here is ask, what would Commissar Yarrick do? Oh, good idea. Look, I've clawed my way to victory. Well, that was awesome. Pointless, but awesome. Hey, that's Warhammer in a nutshell. Take the Servitor here, for instance. As far as Servitors are usually depicted in the Warhammer universe, this is one of the cooler designs. Because who needs 2 eyeballs when you can have a power claw jutting out of your skull? Every step they take is forced and unnatural, like they're being puppeteered along. Really nailing that lobotomized convict vibe.
My lord, Stormtrooper. My lord, Stormtrooper. My lord, Stormtrooper. Go yourself! Aww.
Grimaldus is then introduced to the humans commanding the city's defense. Some of the commanders are clearly paying more attention than others. Looking at you, spacey mixtares a lot. I wonder if fried orc tastes like mushrooms.
I would meet every commander of this hive, if they are present. They are present, sir. Reclusiarch. Not, sir.
It might seem like Grimaldus clearly doesn't want to be here, but that's just how Space Marines do small talk. They really nail the Astartes social awkwardness in this movie. Turns out being drafted into the Crusader crew at age 12 doesn't do much for your social etiquette. That and their gene father's Rogel Dorn, the Primarch whose personality begins and ends with build a fort.
I am the best treehouse architect in the galaxy, so I accept this challenge. Serf, bring me my tools and 12,000 laborers.
The most honorable Moderati Primus Valian Casimir of the Legio Invigilata, crewman of the Blessed Engine Storm Herald.
I am the voice of Princeps Majoris Zaha Mancion. The rest of Invigilata is committed to other engagements.
The Titan wanted to come to the meeting, but it turns out they couldn't fit it on the elevator, so it passed. So Grimaldus gets a taste of what a logistical nightmare running the Imperium is.
The hours pass in a blur of statistical outlays, charts, hololithic projections, and graphs. The food supplies for the entire city. Ration projections. Sustainable food ration planning. And I endure this for 9 days. 9 days. What is that?
It's the Silent Hill alarm. I know it's probably a public domain alarm sound, but let's be real, it's the Silent Hill alarm.
Do not be alarmed. The might of Battlefleet Armageddon and the greatest Astartes fleet in Imperial history stands between our world and the foe's forces.
It's a good thing they have the lobotomized convict to calm the civilians down in times of stress. That would relax me.
Maintain your daily rites of faith.
And by daily acts of faith, I mean working 25 hours a day and eating sawdust. You know what? The Orc invasion's probably gonna improve life around here.
Hail the Black Templar flagship Eternal Crusader immediately. My lord, I am coordinating. Do it! Now!
So the Voxcaster does it now. Grimaldus originally plans to call for an SOS, but then he remembers, oh yeah, it's my job to guard this place. His squad mates, on the other hand, have more important things to do, like pose in the rain. So before things can get any darker, Grimaldus calls a meeting with the Titan representative. Oh hey, it's Corvus Corax. Neat. Primus Casimir tells him he can't go see the Titan.
Is it permissible to speak with your Princeps Majoris in person? No.
And Grimaldus says, okay, I'm gonna go see the Titan. Bitch, I'm a space marine. So he goes to see the Titan, and they certainly nailed the walking cathedral vibe. It's even so big it shakes the animated camera. Oh, and it speaks whale too.
I am Grimaldus, Reclusiarch of the Black Templar.
Your identity is known to us.
The next time I am interrupted, I will kill one of you.
For those of you curious, this is how space marines do diplomacy.
Reclusiarch, must we bear this foolish indignity? No. Kill them.
And that's what the Black Templars call a real bargain.
I wish to speak with the intruders.
That is what I thought you would say.
So when the Titan realizes it's not dealing with Ultramarines, it lets them in. We then meet the Titan Princeps, who is a naked woman in a tube.
Greetings, Astartes.
Princeps Majoris. An honor to stand in your presence.
Should I censor this for nudity? I mean, the original video didn't get taken down. Show as many titties as you want, but don't break GW's copyright. I guess for now, she can continue cosplaying as the music video for One by Metallica. The Princeps request that I remove his helmet so that they can talk face to face. If you guys aren't well versed in your Warhammer lore, this is kind of a big deal. Not quite Master Chief removing his helmet big deal, but pretty big deal.
You have very kind eyes.
She says to the guy who almost turned her pit crew into hamburger over a minor slight. Must be some pretty ass eyes. Shame the animation's in black and white.
You have been bold enough to come here. Then honor me with your face.
There's no joke here, I just love that line. You have been bold enough to come here and honor me with your face. So because of Grimaldus' magic face, the Titan decides to aid him in battle.
Have you seen me today?
It is impossible not to see you, Princeps.
It's impossible to kill me as well.
It's like watching a priest flirt with a tractor. By the way, for all you Star Wars sequel fanboys, this is how you do a strong female character. Turn her into a massive tank, but then a space Hulk. Primus responds to this development by posing for the camera. God, Primus is an asshole.
The ship registers as the Purest Intent, an Astartes vessel, strike cruiser class, belonging to the Shadow Wolves.
Ooh, the Shadow Wolves. That's a cool name. Not as cool as the Blade Master, but it's alright.
The 4 to 9 day estimate has been abandoned as of 30 minutes ago. The fleet's casualties are approaching 1 million souls. 1 or 2 more days at best.
Wait, 1 million in real numbers or Games Workshop numbers? It could be 1 million guardsmen from 1 billion worlds, especially since GW doesn't know math, except when it comes to counting their money. So everyone chips in ideas as to what to do about the Space Hulk.
Send the Titan to obliterate the wreckage. Inspire the men. Give them an overwhelming victory before the true battle is even joined.
Well, for a Commissar, it's a better idea than just shoot the cowards. Which is all Commissar ideas. But Grimaldus has a better plan. He's gonna blow off stress by killing some orcs. Yep, Black Templar's alright. We then learn that Primus has a modest side.
These warriors who called him vainglorious were blind to the truth. He was not rash, he merely trusted in his skills to carry him through any challenge.
You know, like a humble person.
Primus, leave him be. He needs to stand alone for now.
He needs to stop screwing around. He screws around too much with his swords.
They discover an orc pinned under the wreckage.
No. What did you say? I said no.
This leads Grimaldus to a realization.
Look into its eyes, brother. Do you see?
It's afraid. It's afraid!
Let me end it. Its existence offends me.
Okay there, Mr. Twitter.
Let it die in this pain.
You know, actually I'm pretty sure an orc could recover from this. This leads me to another cool aspect about the movie, the orc designs. I like how they didn't go with the goofy, cartoony orcs that we're used to seeing. They wouldn't really fit with the mood they were trying to establish here. Plus, there are plenty of other opportunities for the orcs to show just how orky they are. Unfortunately, it looks like some purple orcs snuck up on Primus. I guess Primus's name is now Mud.
Greetings. Those horses. They shot me.
Remember, it's not bragging. Primus is just that good. Can we get a new Blade Master? Before they can pursue this matter further, they're interrupted by emergency signal.
Helsreach, this is the Crusader. We are breaking from the planet. The orbital war is lost. Hell is coming, brother.
If you guys are curious as to why the orcs are attacking Armageddon in particular, they probably just saw the name Armageddon on a map and went, "Oi, that's a good fight right there." So after some rendering errors, the invasion of Helsreach begins. I guess it's appropriate that they put the Gene son of Rogel Dorn in charge of the Wall of Guns. Things are starting to look pretty dire, so Grimaldus gives one of the best speeches in movie history. No, I don't mean Warhammer history or fan film history. I mean movie history. It's that good.
We stand united in our thousands. Our weapons without number, our purity without question.
Well, they're only able to render in about 40 here, but it's like a Bethesda game. Even though they never show it, you assume the battles are bigger off screen.
Forgive me when the moment comes that they whine and weep against our walls. Forgive me that I must order you to waste ammunition upon their worthless bodies.
Forgive me for the boats you'll have to build, to traverse the sea of orc tears that will be left when we are done. Forgive me that it will smell like an outhouse at Woodstock, with all the orc bodies lying around after the siege. Forgive me your sword dicks after you have fucked each and every last of the Gretchens to death.
I have heard many souls speak my name in whispers since I came to Helsreach. I ask you now, do you know me?
You're Cato Sicarius, right?
We are the defenders of Helsreach, sons and daughters of the Imperium. Our blood is the blood of heroes and martyrs.
A little more martyrs than heroes, but that's the guard for you.
We will throw their bodies from these walls when the final day dawns. This is our world. Say it, cry it out, so the bastards in orbit will hear our fury.
All jokes aside, the speech makes me want to take up a flamethrower and go crusading for some Xenos. Unfortunately, the orcs don't need a battle speech. All they need is... He does have beautiful eyes. So it's here the sketch animation leaves for a bit, but don't worry, it'll be back later. You could argue that the reason there's more clarity and color as the movie goes on is that Grimaldus is remembering events more clearly. I would argue it's so that you could see what's actually going on in the larger scale fights. Either way, I'm down. So the action in this movie's been pretty good up until this point, but here's where it gets great. It is super visceral. The sound design does a lot to help out with that. When a guardsman gets thunked, you can hear him get thunked. Thanks to the help of the Black Templars, the Imperial Guard are able to push back the advance of the orcs. Oh my god, it's the color brown! I didn't know Rainbow Bright was at the Battle of Helsreach. Don't look at me. I only know space marine biology. She better start growing some extra hearts. This gives Primus a chance to have some character development. This is actually a pretty nice moment here, especially because it's Primus of all people trying to comfort the dying guardswoman, the one space marine who scoffed at the idea of fighting with humans.
The guard is with us, and militia forces. Humans?
Don't worry. Her bulletproof rib shield should have blocked the... Wait, humans don't have that?
I requested we withdraw all guard forces from the wasteland installations across all of southern Armageddon Secundus. What's worth guarding out there? The desert vultures spoke of a curious legend. Something buried beneath the sands.
So Grimaldus and co. go searching for the Ark of the Covenant. Well, in order to find what they're looking for, they need an expert.
We have defensive positions in the wastelands, manned by the Steel Legion.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
I was informed today exactly what is stored in the underground hangar of the D-16 West outpost. None of our briefings mentioned it was a sealed Mechanicus facility.
I have studied several of the decisive battles of the First War.
Then you will know what Mechanicus weapon was designed and first deployed here. One of our gunships will carry a small group to D-16 West in 1 hour.
It's Mechanicus territory.
I do not care.
I do not care for those mechanical twats. Have you heard what they do to their toasters? Disgusting.
Okay, that's the last Mechanicus fucking toasters joke I'm gonna make on this channel.
I can't allow you to do this. It will enrage the Mechanicus.
Allow? You don't allow a Black Templar Reclusiart to go take a dump on the Mechanicus's lawn.
The Emperor
Allows you to live.
I am not asking for your permission, Adjutant. I am asking if you wish to come with us.
Would I like to go on a joyride with these power-armored demigods to take a dump on the Mechanicus's lawn?
Okie dokie.
So off they go, in search of things.
Try not to get us shot down.
Brother, does anyone ever laugh at your jokes?
He almost crashes the ship twice in this movie, by the way.
My princeps.
Hello, Valiant.
You are sanguine?
No, I'm not sanguineous. Do I look like a blood angel to you? Just kidding. We like to have fun here. By the way, brownie points if you can actually make out what the princeps is saying. I've seen this movie 3 times and I still don't know.
Are you querying if I am at risk of...
Thanks, my mother is fine.
That is not...
No, I don't know what a squat's beard smells like. We then cut to Andre, the best character in this movie. He's in the desert with a guardswoman polishing his gun. You know, when a guardsman and a guardswoman are hanging out alone together for hours on end with nothing else to do. Metaphor, what's that? Even though Russia doesn't exist in this universe, Andre still manages to have a bad Russian accent.
This is Astartes business. It will be good. Good for us, bad for the enemy.
I guess when you're the best character in the movie, you can get away with such things.
They are from Helsreach. I know this. I listen to my briefings. I do not sleep like you.
I do not fall asleep like you. That doesn't go in the video. I just like doing the accent. Before they can make their problems worse by accidentally summoning Slanesh, they're interrupted by the approaching Black Templar's gunship. I also love how nobody knows how to address Astartes because most guardsmen have never seen one in their entire lives.
Should we, salute? Is that what you're supposed to do?
I don't know, just stand at attention.
We've come to enter the installation.
Forgive me. Is this a joke?
Do I look like I'm laughing under this helmet? Because I am. We like to have fun here.
So Grimaldus observes that they have no power, but the Master of the Forge thinks otherwise.
Power still beats through its veins. Resonance is low, the pulse is slow.
But my rhymes are flow.
Digging for secrets in the sand, yes? Well, that is not going to make the Mechanicus smile, I think.
Man, fuck the Mechanicus. They have one good game and suddenly everyone thinks they're hot shit.
This is a magnetic field stabilizer housing.
What does it do?
It houses the stabilizers for a magnetic field generator.
I'm just kidding. It actually makes popcorn. Dipshit.
They come to the main door to find it sealed.
I was right. This is it.
It is so beautiful.
It is the Bane Blade!
This would survive orbital bombardment. It is void shielded, armored like no bunker I have ever seen, and sealed with a billion or more individual codes.
They better pray to the Emperor there's a super weapon in there. Otherwise, they just pissed off their only Titan Legion. And you don't need a laser eye to see shit's about to hit the fan. So the first of the Orc Space Hulks lands, so Andre and his girlfriend take cover from the sand storm behind some sandbags, somewhere, in a galaxy far, far away. Anakin Skywalker just pissed himself and cried. The storm catches Grimaldus' ship out in the open, so Grimaldus opens the side hatch. Just in time for the guardswoman to almost get blown out the side. Well, that was a bad idea. Well, her arm's dislocated in about 9 different ways, but other than that, she's fine. Fortunately, the pilot beats the machine spirit like it owes him money, so they pull out. Oh, I totally meant to do that. Style points. We then cut to the most adorable little war crime ever. Just like the military, get them while they're young. For those concerned, cherubs are basically Cupid mixed with that baby toy head from Toy Story 1. Meanwhile, in the desert with Andre...
This is better than sitting on our asses in the desert, yes? Yes, it is. That's what I think.
Shut up. The sex isn't that bad. So the Titan requests an audience with Grimaldus. Unfortunately, this is Grimaldus' nap time.
Inform Invigilata I will attend Princeps Zaha within the hour. I do not believe she is in the mood to be kept waiting, Grimaldus. Nevertheless, waiting is what she will do.
Yup. This guy just put a Titan on hold. It's no wonder the Orcs got to Armageddon so quickly. They were sucked into the gravitational pull of Grimaldus' massive balls. Meanwhile, the Master of the Forge is still code cracking, and a much cooler visual than you usually get from movie hacking.
It reads like an ecology. It's always changing, reacting to my intrusions by evolving into more complex systems.
Though to be honest, I kinda wanna see a Space Marine just mindlessly tap on his keyboard in fast motion. Kinda like Jim Carrey answering prayers in Bruce Almighty. It's the one time it'd be realistic for a character to do that, so I feel like we missed out. Meanwhile, back at the Titan...
You should be staying where you stand.
That would be an unwise solution.
Every time these two have a conversation with each other, they open it up by threatening each other's lives.
You see me revealed, yet you hide behind the death mask of your Emperor.
Our Emperor.
Oh! Oh shit! So Grimaldus makes the case that they need the super weapon for the defense of Helsreach. The Princeps responds with a stellar counter-argument.
The sacred war platforms must be blessed by the Lord of the Centurial Ordinatus. Their machine spirit would be enraged without this appeasement.
The only reason the Mechanicus is not committing one of its greatest weapons to the war to save this world is because it remains unblessed.
Well, I've had it. Time to exterminatus the Mechanicus. So Grimaldus goes, fuck that. Let's crack this tin can open. But before he can press the big red exterminatus button...
I am ordered by my superiors to see you dead before you continue this course of action.
What are you gonna do, spit in your tube at me? Fortunately, Grimaldus tries that Black Templar diplomacy again.
If you try to raise the shields and prevent my attempt to leave, I will order my gunships to open fire on this bridge. Your void shields will never rise in time.
I said when last we met that you had kind eyes. It is true, but I regret it.
Well, that's why you look at someone's eyes in Technicolor before making judgments. This is probably a good time to mention how great the soundtrack is. The angelic choir here really captures the feel of Warhammer.
Hades may burn, but it burns because the enemy fears us. It burns to hide the enemy's shame.
Yeah, because if there's two things that describe the Orcs, it's fear and shame.
While the walls of Helsreach stand, while one defender draws breath, the city will never be...
Oh. Well...
Whatever, for the Emperor!
This leads to more of Grimaldus' musings about glorious Emperor love and combat.
Artarian suffers more than the rest of us. He sacrifices one hand to hold my banner aloft. The standard draws the enemy to him. They want our banner.
I don't doubt it. Being orcs, they probably just want it for toilet paper. They're interrupted by the arrival of an orc gargant, and they really nailed the orcs through a bunch of trash and Daka together and then duct taped it with WA Power vibe. That is a very orky gargant. Oh look, a bird.
Engine kill?
God, they even nailed the detail of the Titans shouting engine kill based on what part of the gargant they disabled. They even have a dubstep cannon. Neat. Things are getting hairy with the Imperial Guard, so it's back to Technicolor we go. The Guard's handling it about as well as usual.
They're coming.
You said that half an hour ago.
Reinforcements are en route. You said that half an hour ago. Did I hear you shouting about reinforcements again? They're coming. Throne, why is everyone whining about that?
Meanwhile, the Princeps changed character models in between parts. Good for her. Not so good is that the orc somehow got a lucky shot off and dropped a building on the Titan. This gives just enough time for the machine spirit of the Titan to overwhelm the Princeps. You ever seen that Nightmare on Elm Street movie where the guy gets possessed by a motorcycle? Same concept.
Storm Herald has taken her.
She still lives.
She's gone from us, Reclusiac.
That sounds like some good old-fashioned heresy right there. Don't make me bust out the heresy hammer.
We then cut to the Princeps subconscious, which happens to be the opening to Kingdom Hearts. Making awesome speeches has worked out for Grimaldus so far in this movie, so if it ain't broke, right?
Rogel Dawn and Horus were close before the Great Heresy. But when the two brothers crusaded together, they were said to have made an oath in blood. Until the end, they would say.
Of course, Horus broke that pact and burned down half the galaxy. I forget where I was going with this.
You swore to me that you would walk.
Come on, Princeps, don't be a filthy Horus.
Stand.
Fortunately, Grimaldus rolls a nat 20 on his speech check, so the metaphor gets through to her. We then cut to 1 month later. Well, Kador's dead. Yep, just like that.
That is not Kador. You are leaving nothing behind. You are heartless, brother. Even for one who wears the black, that is a cold thing to say.
It sounds like your faith needs some renewing, brother. Do I need to bust out the heresy hammer?
Really gonna miss that guy. Remember that scene of him checking his bolter? Yeah, I genuinely couldn't remember who that was my first couple times watching this. On the way back to the battlefield, Primus can't help himself but to be an asshole.
He did not die well. I said I have no desire to speak of this, brother. Well, I only say this because if I were as close to him as you were, it would have grieved me also. He died badly. That would shame me beyond measure.
Okay, why don't we let Primus deliver the eulogy?
An ugly, ugly death.
I'm just gonna save this quote for later, because it pays off in a huge way.
Nero, do you stand ready? Why do you single me out like this? Primus is likely to see us all dead because he cannot follow orders. Bastelen and Artarian are not half the fighters Kador was.
Seems like Nerovar is cracking under pressure, so Grimaldus offers him some words of encouragement.
When I tell you to focus and stand with your brothers, you respond with black words and treacherous thoughts. So I tell you again one last time, that we need you.
Nerovar is thoroughly convinced.
It is fine, Nero. I miss him just as you do. I forgive you, Nerovar.
Shut up, Primus. Then suddenly, a missile barrage.
Now this is pod racing.
Shoot now, or die with me.
So the Marines audition for orbital drop shock troopers when suddenly Grimaldus remembers, oh yeah, I'm a goddamn space marine.
There is no need to die here.
Of course, the real reason he saves him is because he needs a landing pad. So Grimaldus sticks the landing, somehow landing 12 feet away facing the ship, despite them jumping out of the ship at hundreds of miles an hour facing the opposite direction, but it's so bad I'll just assume it was warp shenanigans. So the battle's starting to get hairy, at least until some drop pods fall to the planet's surface.
Looks like this is about to be a hot zone.
And just in time too, because it seems like the Black Templars are barely holding out here. Before you ask, no, I will not be making any arrow to the knee jokes. I'm saving those for Warhammer Fantasy. Fortunately, they're bailed out by the reason that I made Imperial Guard. One laser pointer, not particularly effective. A billion laser pointers, at least one of them's gotta burn out your retinas. The guardsmen are led by Trooper Andre.
Hello, Reclusiac.
Who is still the best character in this movie.
I will remember your names and deeds this day.
Yeah, I am very honored, Reclusiac, but if you could tell my captain about this, I would be even happier.
Andre just saved a squad of Space Marines. They're gonna promote him to Inquisitor.
Yeah, I am hopeful this will also impress the lady I intend to marry.
Yes. Good.
I know this is supposed to be Grimaldus being awkward again, but really, what do you say to that?
Good for you.
What, you want me to get you laid? Finally, backup arrives. And hey, does anybody else smell barbecue? That's right, it's the Salamanders, the nicest Space Marine chapter. I mean, not to orcs clearly, but you know, in general. They're decked out in flamethrowers and Jamaican accents.
My lord and master heard of the assured civilian devastation in the fall of the city's coastal districts.
Because of course they are. On the downside, the Salamanders are only sticking around to defend the civilians.
And then you will leave.
And then we will leave this city. It smells like home.
I love the smell of burning promethium in the morning. Smells like home.
Suddenly, it's 1 week later. Primus and Bastila discuss the philosophy of the Salamanders, and just in case you were on the verge of liking Primus,
drop podding into the city purely to defend civilians? Madness!
Next thing you know, they'll be mating with Eldar.
That is where you and I disagree, brother. But you are young. You will learn.
He said to the 93-year-old Space Marine, practically an infant.
What two chapters fight the same? We are all born of different worlds and trained by different masters. Accept the differences and stand with them as allies.
So immediately after this scene, Grimaldus starts a fight with the Salamanders over chapter differences. See, the night before, the Space Marines had a chance to kill the Orc War Boss. However, instead of staying to possibly kill the War Boss, the Salamanders go, "Fuck this shit, I'm out," and fall back to defend the civilians. Well, points for consistency, I guess.
You consider this a stain on your personal honor?
No, brother. I consider it a waste of time, ammunition, and life. If we had pursued in unity, we could have broken through to the enemy leader and taken his head.
Pursuit would have left the shelter undefended and vulnerable to regrouping waves attacking from other sectors.
I like this plot point because it doesn't take either side in particular. Both the Salamanders and the Black Templars have legitimate pros and cons to their arguments, and it's really up to your own personal philosophy to decide who's in the right. What it boils down to is the Salamanders will preserve innocent life at any cost, and the Black Templars will sacrifice life for the greater good.
Get out of my city.
Well, so much for respect the differences. After Grimaldus tells them to get fucked by war trucks, the Salamanders go, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." We then cut back to the battle again, where things have gone from bad to worse to worser.
The city is falling, brother. Saren and the other humans face that fact today. The time has come for us to choose where we will die.
Looks like Grimaldus has been workshopping his speech skills, so they decide to make their last stand in a church by the graveyard, which as far as Warhammer metaphors go, is downright subtle. The Black Templars then ask for the assistance of the only Imperial army crazier and more pious than they are, the Sisters of Battle.
How long has it been since you wore your armor, Primus?
Let's just say, you couldn't wipe your own backside the last time I went to war.
Also, we get a cameo from a Scout Titan. That's nice. The Black Templars then meet up with Bayard, the Emperor's champion.
Primus! Still breathing, I see. Nothing on this world will change that, my liege.
So you guys still remember that clip I saved earlier, right?
An ugly death.
No reason, just wondering. The movie then takes a second to once again remind you that Primus is an asshole.
Did you know that? I knew it, my liege. Cato spoke of it often. He was one of us.
You know, I think I might be part Bloodraven. Might have to acquire some relics soon. Anyway, time for some of that Black Templar diplomacy. I'm not saying that sarcastically this time. They're actually super respectful here. It turns out Crazy knows how to talk to Crazy. Well, all except for one. Brownie points if you can guess.
Half of the temple district has already fallen in the last week. Where were you then?
We were at the docks, you ungrateful little harpy.
Who else but Primus?
I have fought alongside warriors who would have given their lives for the Imperium's ideals, and warriors that cared only for accruing glory.
I think she's talking about you. Grimaldus and the Battle Sister decide to haggle things out in private. She decides to assist the Black Templars under one condition.
Remove your helm, please.
Man, everyone's jonesing to see this guy's beautiful eyes. I guess the skull helmet gets them wetter than a space wolf at a furry convention. Wow, you look like every video game character from the late 2000s.
There, you are blessed, and may tread the sacred floor of the inner sanctum without guilt.
Huh, that was a lot easier than my promotion. Grimaldus is a bit annoyed about this, so he talks it over with Bayard.
The survivors of this war across the globe will take heart from sacrifices made by the thousands destined to die here. The Imperium was born in moments such as this. My voice was one of the few that spoke against your ascension to Mordred's rank.
Why, thank you. What a great confidence booster before our final battle. On top of that, a guardsman couple shows up, bearing even worse news.
The enemy still has titans, and there's one you'll never believe until you look upon it with your own eyes.
If the end is coming to these walls, you will need to stand ready. Madness. Reclusiac. Humans. They are a mystery to me.
Reclusiac, why don't you kiss me like that? Looks like things aren't going so great with the Titan either.
Firing. Wait for the stabilizers to come back online. They only need another minute.
Unfortunately, he wants that 360 no-scope.
Firing.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Even the orc can't believe his luck. Okay.
I had the shot. I had the shot.
You son of a bitch!
So after showing him the Emperor's mercy, the Titan has no choice but to take the Gargant in glorious melee combat. Unfortunately, melee combat is the orc's specialty. While Grimaldus and the Battle Sister are planning their last stand, Andre interrupts them to deliver the bad news.
The beasts. They are coming in great force. Many are not far behind us, and I have heard Vox chatter that Invigilata is leaving the city.
They would quit the city at once if Princeps Zaha was gone.
She is gone, Reclusiac. An hour ago, we saw Storm Herald die.
Oh, that's funny. For a second there, I thought you said the Princeps was dead. There's no time to panic, though, as the final orc invasion has begun, and Andre has to get his affairs in order.
A moment, please.
Oh, what is this?
My mother's wedding ring.
Oh, I accept.
Please find Trooper Natalina Domoska of the 91st Steel Elite. You will recognize her, this I promise to you. She is the most beautiful woman in the world.
Oh, it's a good thing she's a lesbian, or else they'd have some issues here. Luckily, Grimaldus knows how to deal in orc politics. Find the biggest, ugliest orc and beat him over the head with the heresy hammer. Even the Sisters of Battle get in on the fun. Granny looking fine as hell in that power armor. Now this is how you give thanks to the Emperor. Look at all that gratitude coming out of those bolters. But it seems in the thick of battle, the Black Templars have disappeared.
Are they coming? Oh! The bloody Templars!
Well, at least you'll die as you lived, waiting for reinforcements.
Nearabove!
Well, sucks to be him. Ooh, cool sword.
The Black Sword!
So now they're down to 5 Space Marines. 4 Space Marines. Those damn orc snipers. Can't believe the orcs actually managed to hit him. This guy must have been a secret lamenter. By the way, you remember that orc Gargant that killed the Princeps earlier? Well...
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
No, it's not. But let's be real, the orcs would totally ride the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man into battle if he existed in this universe. All seems lost for our heroes, until...
Engine. Kill.
Well, I just came. And the Gargant went. The Mechanicus weapon saved them for now, but it's not that great against infantry, and Grimaldus needs to save the requisition points, so with a heavy heart he directs the Forge Master away from the battle.
Kill them all! Let none survive!
great speech. Let me take it from here.
Take heart, brothers! Fight in the Emperor's name!
This is why you max out your speech skill. So it looks like it's finally the end for the defense of Helsreach, but our heroes aren't going down without a fight. Well, our heroes and the Sisters of Battle, who get bodied almost instantly. It's a sad day when the Imperial Guard's able to outlast the Sisters of Battle. Well, that sucks. Let's see how Primus is doing. Well, he's missing an arm, but maybe the Apothecary can fix that. Oh. Well, that's okay. Primus is the Blade Master. His expertise at the sword will...
An ugly death.
So now it's just Grimaldus and Arterius.
I will die on this world.
Oh, I guess we're experiencing lag. The movie can't handle the pop cap. Eventually, the freeze frame ends with the temple collapsing, where we then cut to some time after the battle, where it looks like both sides have been drawn into a ceasefire. You see, much like War of the Worlds, where the aliens get killed off by our natural diseases, the orcs get wrecked by the planet's erupting volcanoes. It's a shame we don't have a company of space marines that live on a giant volcano, huh? Oh hey, Grimaldus lived. Well, that would explain how he's narrating this.
Hello, hero.
Oh, and Andre too, even better.
The last Black Knight. The only survivor of the greatest battle in Helsreach. I apologize for surviving and breaking the flow of your legend, Reclusiac.
By the way, some 15-year-old ran off with my mother's wedding ring, so keep an eye out, yes?
Your friend, your love. Did you find her?
Yes. I did find her.
Ow! My feels. It turns out the only survivors of the Helsreach campaign were Grimaldus and 6 or 7 other guardsmen survivors. So average numbers for the Imperial Guard.
Were you not injured at all?
Yeah, I had a headache, but then it went away.
Okay, you know what? I think we finally found one of the lost Primarchs. Turns out he was living on Armageddon this whole time. Well, I'm confident I left this city in a better condition than when I found it.
Hero of Helsreach. The crowd cheers. As if there is only one.
So that was Helsreach. So this is being recorded a month after the initial summary. I've since adopted a small black child named Caiaphas Cat. He will be joining me this evening and all other evenings for the reviews we do on this channel. Say hi, Caiaphas. He's super excited, you just can't tell. So given that this is a Warhammer property, the best aspect of it is obviously going to be the voice acting. I know that's more of a compliment to the original audiobook that they took the sound from, but it's still there. With the exception of Arterian and High Marshal Helbrecht, every Space Marine sounds like a Space Marine.
The snozberries taste like snozberries. Ew. These carrots taste musky.
Like when they're described in the books as talking with deep guttural rumbles, this is what I always imagined. The voice actor for Grimaldus specifically does an amazing job. He's the best performance of the movie. The action's pretty good too, and once again I have to compliment the sound design on that. Though the animation's not that bad either. You can tell a lot of passion went into this project. It doesn't always look technically impressive, but the effort is definitely there. The music is Warhammer music, which if you're familiar with this property at this point shouldn't come as much of a surprise. Lots of heavenly angelic choirs, lots of gothic chanting, everything just feels larger than life. As much as I love Astartes and how much they managed to accomplish with their shorter runtime, Helsreach has 2 things over it. The first thing is actual characters, which is not really surprising since characters were never the main focus of Astartes, but still, it's there. The other, again, is the longer runtime that gives you an opportunity to really get to know these characters and connect with them and get invested in the story. I will say the animation and the action for Astartes is definitely better than Helsreach, but in terms of feeling like an epic grand Warhammer story, I honestly prefer Helsreach. The writing is ripped straight from the audiobook, so of course that's gonna be amazing. I don't even think I really need to say much about that, considering half this review is just quoting from the movie. And there's also a lot of material that I had to leave out just because I didn't want this review to go even longer than it already did. If there were a few things I had to complain about, one would be the Princeps Zahar. One, I can't understand what she's saying half the time, and there's a line in the movie that references this.
Maintenance adept, attend to the Princeps vocalizer unit.
But why? I gotta admit, it's also a little bit distracting when they switch character models for her like halfway through the series. It's not really that subtle. Another small thing about her that bothered me is when Grimaldus goes behind the Mechanicus' back to wake up a super weapon, she kind of threatens and gets mad at him for like a scene and then it's never brought up again. Like you'd think she'd just leave and abandon them after that point. They have a couple scenes later where Grimaldus talks her back from the dead, giving Jesus a run for his money. But the only reason she was in that position in the first place was because she was defending the city, which you'd think she'd no longer be honor bound to do. Another thing that's of little consequence, so it's almost not worth bringing up, and of course you're gonna have flaws like this in a one-man project, but there were some obvious rendering errors over the course of this video. Another thing is that outside of Primus and maybe Artarian, it's hard to tell the Space Marines apart. Like you have Nerovar, the cowardly medic, he's a fine character. Primus is Primus. I think I've made my opinions on him very clear over the course of this review. But then you have Pilot Guy. I've seen this movie 3 or 4 times and I still don't remember his name. He's just Pilot Guy to me. Thank God Grimaldus saved Pilot Guy in that one scene. He kept Pilot Guy from Pilot Die anyway. Not Pilot Guy. Somebody think of Pilot Guy. Okay, I'm done. I don't know how you would go about fixing this problem, but they were also really vague about the struggle between the Princeps and her Titan's machine spirit over the course of the movie. Apparently they delved deeper into it in the books, but if you watch the movie, it just shows a few flashes of what looks like those weird aliens from the Matrix. You know, the mechanical squidbillies. But unless you've read the book or looked it up on Wikipedia like I had to, you really can't tell what's going on your first time watching. Honestly, for a 2.5 hour long Warhammer project done by a single fan, this is nuts. I know people give commendations to the guy that single-handedly made Undertale, and that's also well-deserved, but wow, all this effort and time just for a fan film, that is nuts to me. The Warhammer audience is nuts. Honestly, if you touched up the animation a little bit, this could be Warhammer's answer to the Lord of the Rings films. Okay, maybe not that great, but still, if you haven't watched it at this point and this review hasn't convinced you to yet, do it. Right now. It's still on YouTube. Games Workshop hasn't taken it down yet. I used OBS to record myself a copy of the movie, just in case that happens. Just for my own personal viewing. It's worth it. At least once. Do yourself a favor. If you're even slightly interested in Warhammer, this is not the worst place to start. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Kind of dragged on for a bit there. My bad. I didn't mean for it to be this long when I started editing all this footage together, but it ended up happening that way. And if you guys want to help me out, the YouTube algorithm is hungry, and it needs souls. It needs souls to subscribe to my channel and also leave likes and or comments. Just any engagement, really. Feed the YouTube algorithm's giant gaping maw with your souls. Anyway, I've rambled enough. I'll see you guys later.